Hi everyone, it's you once again, and I wanna welcome back everyone for another movie review. And of course, I'm gonna talk now about Hard Target. Don't hunt what you can't kill. Directed by John Woo, written by ex-Navy SEAL Chuck Farrer, who also played homeless man being hunted in the open scene. And the movie is based on the adaptation of Richard Cornell, the most dangerous game by short story, and of course it's also adaptation of from the movie the same title from 1932. And Hard Target is actually one of my personal favorite action movies of all time. Yes, it's my personal favorite action movie. It's also my personal favorite John Woo film. And I love the movie to death. But before I continue talking about the film and showing you, and of course showing you my collection of the film, I wanna give something out of my chest because something bothers me. I didn't know that this movie has a lot of haters. I didn't know that people hates this film. And when I uploaded last year a video, like in 10 months, my video became actually got 400,000 views, and mostly were actually haters who are giving me dislikes and they were giving me hard time. They actually was keep calling me names like pig, and just like in First Blood, they actually start calling me all those vibe crap, and they don't know jack shit what the hell you are yelling about. And they even given me death threats because I wrote it's actually one of my personal favorite, and of course John Woo and Van Damme's best film, and in that people got very pissed, and they're like 400 dislikes and 200 likes, but there are more haters than likers. I am actually only entertaining you. Don't take everything for serious, and don't take me for granted. I'm not. Don't take everything serious because I am just entertaining you. I'm doing this for free. I'm doing this for fun, and I'm doing this for myself because I like talking about movies. I am passionate on movies, and as a kid, as old generation, we actually grew up watching those actors that now we call them action heroes. And nowadays they're actually superheroes, like those comic book superheroes like Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Ant-Man, Black Widow, Captain America, Guardians of the Galaxy, but as a kid in the 90s, as kids we actually grew up with actors that we call action heroes, and those are actually our comic book heroes. I grew up like watching like Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, Steven Seagal, Bruce Willis, Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, Patrick Swayze, Richard Norton, Cynthia Rothrock, Jackie Chan, Chuck Norris, Eddie Murphy, also Nick Nolte I watched the most as his movie. I grew up with those actors. Those are actually my comic book heroes, my superheroes. And Chance Boudreaux is actually my comic book superhero. He's my comic book hero. He's my favorite action hero, just like John Rambo. Chance Boudreaux is actually one of my personal favorite heroes. But don't take everything serious or personal what I say. This is actually just my review, and I'm not trying to upset you or offend you. But if you don't like my video or what I say, just click that button that is actually marked with red X, and you're gonna be out of this video right away. And if you see my content, just click I'm not interested, and that's the best thing to avoid me. No need to personal attack me or call me names or give me dislikes. And I didn't know this movie got so much haters. I didn't know even that Indonesia hates this film. I had no idea. So once again, please don't attack me. Please don't cyberbully me over a film, over passion, over my review, over a film that I love to death. And also please don't ask me in my comment section, give me the link for Hard Target. I don't have the link on Hard Target for free. Why don't you just buy the film or find it yourself on torrents and download it for free, or better, just buy the film, just like I did. I had to buy them, so why don't you just buy the films instead, Please don't ask me about give you the link for Hard Target, because I don't think there isn't any online free link to watch the movie Hard Target. I don't think, except it's a pay for. It's except it's a site that you have to pay for it, or you have to create an account. But then it keeps telling you, oh, it's free, but later you have to gonna pay for the film. I recommend you to buy it yourself, Blu-ray or DVD, or you rather download it, find it on torrent, and there's a lot of torrents out there, so find the movie on torrent and download it. And yeah, by the way, there was a sequel with Scott Adkins, and that movie sucked. And I don't even get me started with Hard Target 2. That movie fucking sucked. Fuck that movie. So now so now that's actually out of my chest, and I wish you fun, and I hope you enjoy my review, because it's gonna be 1 hour long review. But this time I'm just gonna title Hard Target movie review. I'm not gonna put just like I did last year. Like in 2 months was kind of really laughable, kind of really a mystery. Like, why was my video was so popular, but then was actually more hated. By like people giving me a dislike on mobile device. It just makes no sense. But this I'm just gonna put Hard Target movie review, and I hope you don't cyberbully me, or give me a hard time, or give me a death threats, or give me dislike every time I upload the video. I hope that we can avoid that. But anyway, I wish you have fun watching the video. So now let's go to the movie. Hard Target, I love to death. And first off, I do have my own CD. I put this movie a long time ago, I think 3 years ago. I downloaded it, I put it on CD. In case if my Blu-ray gets broken, or something happens to the Blu-ray, I have my own. This is actually the DVD, but I have my own version from Blu-ray. Yes, I do have the unrated version, and now I'm gonna show you the DVD. This is the theatrical version. Yes, I do have theatrical version. Huge fan of Hard Target. This is the theatrical version. Don't hunt what you can't kill. This is the back. And I do have this from the unrated version on Blu-ray. This is my unrated version on Blu-ray. Hard Target. Don't hunt what you can't kill. And of course the back. One of my personal favorite action movies of all time. Like already said, I love Hard Target to death. I love this movie to death. Been a huge fan of this movie for at least 10, I think it was 16 years I'm a fan of this movie. And back to back, I would say Hard Target is Jean-Claude Van Damme's best movie. There's Jean-Claude Van Damme is very popular actor, and a lot of people. There's actually a lot of conversation about his movies. Some people consider Universal Soldier his best. Some consider Time Cop his best. Some consider Bloodsport his best. I consider Hard Target his best because I watch this movie non-stop, even when I watched this movie last night. And yeah, Hard Target is a badass. Yes, it's a pure badass, kick-ass, balls to the walls action movie of all time. My personal movie. That's the reason I have this DVD, which I love this DVD kind of more. But Hard Target, like I said, directed by John Woo, my favorite John Woo movie, my favorite action movie for all time. And as a kid, I never saw this film. I didn't even know it exists until I was 19 years old. And no, actually, I apologize. Cobra was actually that time back in 2003 when I was 19 years old. I saw this movie a year earlier, back in 2002, when I was actually 18 years old. And I'm still actually happy that my mom gave me the money so I could rent the VHS tape. And that time I watched theatrical cuts. This is actually theatrical cut on it. Yeah, this is actually theatrical cut on it. but thank God I do have more gore and violence in this movie. And some people consider this film being the most violent ever. But yeah, but to each own. This movie is only for action fans, and like I said, Hard Target is one of my favorite action films of all time. I think it's one of the best 90s action films of all time ever. But it's not the only one. I'm also gonna count it Demolition Man. I'm gonna count it Cliffhanger, Under Siege. The first one, I'm gonna count this movie, which I think is underrated, Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow is actually my second favorite from John Woo. Actually, no. Hard Target and Broken Arrow are actually equal to me, so it's hard to decide. But this movie, I love to death, which I do have the poster. And I also do love this movie to death, they're equal. And I think this movie gets a lot of bad rap and crap, I also think that that Hard Target belongs with GoldenEye, this movie behind me, GoldenEye, which I think from the 90s, this is another badass action film. I think also Speed came out after this movie, which is another 90s action film. Con Air, The Rock, what are more action films? Die Hard with a Vengeance, Die Hard 2. And with those 90s action movies, I'll definitely say it belongs there. And Under Siege is actually Steven Seagal's best film. Hard Target, in my opinion, is actually Van Damme's best film. And that's just only one of the greatest action films and one of the pure badass action films ever. So by the way, the reason why I love this movie and why I love the movie is actually the story about the man being hunted, by those mercenaries who are actually hunting him, and he became his hard target, which means don't hunt what you can't kill, and Jean-Claude Van Damme's best performance. I also love Lance Henriksen, Arnold Vosloo. I love those two guys more, Those are the bad guys, and you actually hate them. You hate them, They're actually bad guys in this movie, and you hate them. You hate them very much. So yeah, those are actually the bad guys in this film. And so yeah, the movie talks about the opening scene. We see actually Chuck Farrer, who was ex-Navy SEAL. He wrote the screenplay for this film. He's been hunted by a group of mercenaries, and you also see a group of motorcycles. We also see a motorcycle gunmen. Too bad that in this cover they're not, but this is actually John Woo's trademark motorcycle gunmen, because we previously got it in Hard Boiled, which I reviewed like twice that film, but some asshole gave me a dislike. But it doesn't matter because I still have that video on my other channel. But yeah, this is actually motorcycle gunmen are actually John Woo's trademark. So are pigeons, just like in this movie we previously saw in The Killer and Hard Boiled. So we saw in Hard Boiled we saw motorcycle gunmen, with helmet and on being on a motorcycle. So we saw white does, which is also another trademark by John Woo, and of course Van Damme with two guns, which is one of my personal favorite, with 9mm Beretta, And like in the opening scene, we see a homeless man being hunted by these mercenaries, by this group of mercenaries, played by Lance Henriksen and Arnold Vosloo. Lance Henriksen plays Emile Fouchon, and of course Arnold Vosloo plays Pete Van Cleef. That's actually the characters based on Lee Van Cleef, the actor who passed away. And Fouchon has actually a deadly game for his clients, board tycoons, who paid him $500,000 to hunt, to stalk and hunt their prey. And it's actually a human hunt. They go and they actually recruit homeless war veterans for the amusement and for the sport. This is actually the hunt for the sport for the usement and the trophy, and their clients pay them $500,000 in the game to find out if they're dead or alive, to stalk and eliminate, to stalk, hunt, and eliminate their prey. And that's what they do in city New Orleans. And they do by night. They hunt people by night. They hunt combat veterans, which is more exciting. And of course, the thrill of the hunt is the ultimate drug. That also means the thrill of the hunt is the ultimate drug. And in the opening scene, a homeless man played, later we found out it's Douglas Binder's been chased through the city and through the river to the city, down the hill, which is awesome. And like we see Pete Van Cleef with a grenade launcher, and he goes boom and fires and destroy a complete shed. He could destroy complete shed. Complete shed, explosion, pure badass practical effects. And there's an enemy with steel arrow who has like that crossbow modified weapon, like a rifle, and he aims and fires on Douglas Binder, and while Douglas Binder's running, he gets hit an arrow in the leg and in the stomach, and another arrow when he falls down the bridge, another arrow hits him right through the chest and bores that, and completely with a sharp object bores that dog tags, that soldiers are wearing, and he falls down the river. And of course they take the weapon, and it's been by, and Douglas Binder, played by Chuck Farrer, who also wrote the screenplay, has been played by Mr. Lopaki. I'll try to find that actor who played the actor who played Mr. Lopaki by Robert Apisa, who plays Mr. Lopaki. He uses arrow stealth, which is awesome, which is more exciting, and I kind of miss that, bow and arrows, they don't make those kind of movies, like in this movie, Rambo First World Part 2, they actually use bow and arrow and C4 arrow tips explosions, C4 tip arrow explosions they used. In this movie, they did not use C4 arrow explosive arrows, but they actually went and used a stealth arrow with a real arrow, They used stealth arrow, and they actually used stealth arrow, And the arrow completely spiked and completely went through the chest and kills Douglas Binder. And then we see through the bridge, when Fouchon says it's like a drug to kill a man. Was it worth it? Mr. Paki, it was every cent, every nickel. And I love that, in the open. And then we see Yancy Butler, who plays Natasha Binder. She drives through the bridge and she tries to find his missing father. And we found out that she's the daughter of the homeless man that those group of mercenaries, they actually went and they were hunting him down, And so in the restaurant, then we see a restaurant, and I just love the restaurant scene. And we see the first time Jean-Claude Van Damme with his beautiful mullet, his beautiful hair, beautiful mullet, like a pure badass he is. He sits in a restaurant with a beautiful music score, and I did wrote down the lines somewhere. How's that, how's that gumbo chance? And I love when Van Damme says a tragedy. The coffee was tolerable tough, and I love that. It ain't free neither. Yeah, I know. Leave your wallet in your tuxedo. Have I played that one only before? Yeah, for the Gumbo. That's right. And I love Jean-Claude Van Damme's character so much. This is my comic book hero, Chance Boudreau. He's my comic book hero. And yeah, he's actually my comic book hero. He's a former U.S. Force Recon Marine out of War Cayenne. He's actually out of War Cayenne. He was a sailor, but when he found out that the captain was smuggling opium, he threw the captain overboard. Since then, he's out of work. And I just love that he's also homeless, and he was raised on the south by his uncle, and he also served as recon, as recon marine, U.S. Force Recon Marine, this private line search, recons, he was also a former Marine, and he wasn't someone to mess around, And while he's living, he see three guys, and he see this lady, Natasha Binder, played by Yancy Butler, and she tries to find her father, and she has too many money with her around, and he see in the mirror through the door three guys, and while he leaves, she goes to the car, and three guys show up, three thugs shows up, and they start to harassing her, and Natasha said, "Leave the hell alone," and they try to mug her, to rob her, and one of them says, "How about a little extra, honey?" And she says, "Leave me the hell alone," and one of the guys punches her in the face. And when Damme shows up, Chance Boudreaux, my comic book hero, he shows up and says, "You having fun?" And he grabs Natasha, and she's like all bloody, which this movie has a bloody scenes. And I love when one of the thugs says, with the glasses, sunglasses, says, "Why don't you do yourself a favor, boy?" And Chance says, "I think the favor gonna be done for you." And one of the thugs says, "I said God get lost," with a toothpick, And I love when Chance says, "Now take your big stick and your boyfriend and find a bus to catch." I love that. I love this fucking line, Just like in Robocop, I love this guy, Now take your big stick and your boyfriend and find a bus to catch. I love that. And another guy says, "Oh, this guy's funny," And then Damme, he uses that code, goes back, and he uses his leg, boom, punches the guy with the glasses, and another guy, the first guy with the head punches at the face, and the other guy, with the glasses goes with the leg right in the fucking face, boom, right in the face, and the black guy shows up, and I think that Chance grabs him. I think he grabs his arm and punches him with the glasses and throws him in that iron toothpick, kaboom, in that statue he lands. And the other guy jumps on a car like a pure badass. That was a badass scene in slow motion. John Woo, and Van Damme uses his spin kick and right kick him in the legs. The guy falls down, and then the guy tries to stab him. He makes, just like in Bloodsport, he makes a 360-degree spin kick, and he kicks him with the leg right in the head. And John Woo did perfectly shot with slow motion right in the head, and he lands right in the restaurant through the window. What a badass scene, And the guy with the glasses attacks him, and Van Damme, who punches him twice, grabs his leg, and goes to break his leg, and shows on the floor, And I love, that's a shame, that's such a nice town, Next time, don't show the money around, and he gives her back the purse, and like a pure badass, he walks with a coat, like a pure badass he is. I love this kind of characters, We grew up with those generation, with those kind of action heroes, And that's actually not much as the action heroes, this is my comic book hero. This behind is my comic book hero. Rambo First World Part 2. This character, Christian Slater, as Riley Hale, is actually my comic book hero. Those two guys, are actually my comic book heroes. Martin Riggs and Roger Murtaugh. or James Bond's my favorite character, or Dalton, or John McClane, played by Bruce Willis in the first Die Hard. Those are actually my movies. This is actually my movie, And of course, Cassie Lemon, she plays a police detective Mitchell, and Natasha shows up and asks, she goes to report her father missing, and she finds out that she finds that the detective can't help her because he's a homeless. So she asks that she should try to find someone by helping her out, because she needs she should find someone that's gonna take her around the city. Instead, she's gonna miss the next, And and she said, I don't wanna fill the report for you. And now in the pier, Chance is waiting to finally getting back his job. He needs the job, and he goes back to find his job. And I love when she shows up, when Natasha asks him for his help, that she's gonna pay him $100 on a day. And I love it when Damme's character chances to do what, for $100 is matter. Yes, it is matter, and I loved his character so much. I love that he's such a honest guy. He's a honest guy. He's just not someone to mess around. And of course, he says, I'm gonna go out of town, way out of town, and he finds out, wait a minute, you still own money, by some dudes. Johnson said I've been restated, by the union, not the company. You're dudes, boys. You own people $270. How am I supposed to pay them? How am I supposed to pay them to get a job? And I love that the guy tells your ship sails at the end of the week. If you got me, you can have a ship. I'll get the money. And he goes like, and then he walks like a badass. And he says, okay, I changed my mind. I'll help you for 2 days. You're gonna pay me $270. And she said, okay, you can drive. Oh, I don't have a driver's license. Man, I love that. I love that line, Yes, I remember because I watched this movie 100 times, I watched this movie on Blu-ray non-stop because it's such a badass fun. One of my personal favorite movies ever, And so they actually go to the homeless shelter. And we see Willie Carpenter, who plays Elijah Roper. He was also a Maureen Recon. He was also in Vietnam, and just like Natasha Pinder's father, And he tells her, earlier he tells her that her father is actually a homeless man, And he finds the bag, but her father is still missing. So they found those flyers, with the sex, and they go to this guy Randall Poe, and of course Elliot Kinner plays Randall Poe, And when they ask him, he says maybe he did, maybe he didn't, And then we see Arnold Vosloo as Speak Van Cleef. Yeah, that's Arnold Vosloo. That's Arnold Vosloo in the middle, That's Arnold Vosloo as Speak Van Cleef, He's and of course, Natasha is upset. She says he knows something, and I love when Chance says, look, if you want to find your father, you have to work smarter, not harder, And then when a police officer shows up and tells they found him, and her dad is now killed, there is a fire in the building and he was killed. And and of course, Chance, she tells Detective Mitchell asks him how you get here, and he says, I'll try to find her father, But Chance thought something's actually suspicious, and he decides to investigate. And of course, meantime, there's a new client for Fouchon and Pick Van Cleef. They found a new client, another multimillionaire who also paid them $500,000 to play the game. the thrill of the hunt, to play the stalk and killed, to stalk and killed his prey. And of course, during the fight scenes, and of course, during they actually found a new client, and they found the Chance Boudreaux could be actually a problem because he was raised on the south by his uncle. He was actually U.S. Marine, a former. He was he was a former U.S. Force Recon Marine, and he worked on a ship. But after his like I already said, after his captain was smuggling opium, Boudreaux showed him out of the board. Since then, he's out of work, and he could be a problem. So they send a few guys to talk with him, And people says maybe should visit. No, send a few lads to talk with him. And I also love the scene when Randall Poe, he sleeps, and the Big One Cliff shows up and punches him, in the stomach. Wakey, fat fuck! And he kicks in the butt. The guy falls down, and Fouchon says, that wasn't a candidate we actually selected. Well, I couldn't find the one you asked, so I sent Binder. He was a recon Marine, he was a war veteran. That's what you asked for. But he has a family, and now they're asking questions for it. You're careless and stupid. And I love Lance Henriksen. He had such a ball, playing the character. He had such a ball playing the character, Fouchon. He had such a ball playing him, And he chose the character, Fouchon, because it was his dream come true working with John Woo. And so also did Pick Van Cleef, Arnold Vosloo. And Arnold Vosloo, he was in The Mummy, which I saw both films in movie theater. The Mummy and The Mummy Returns, I saw both of them. I saw that movie, The Progeny, with him, which he was, I think, was direct to video about aliens. Arnold Vosloo was also in Darkman 2 and 3. And Arnold Vosloo as Pick Van Cleef is fantastic. He's actually the best character he ever played. I love the guy so much. Yes, I'm sorry, but Pick Van Cleef is definitely another character in this movie, or the villains that I love, Lance Henriksen's fantastic in this movie, and so is Jean-Claude Van Damme as Chance Boudreaux, my favorite character, my favorite comic book hero. That's my comic book hero. So of course, Pig grabs the skizzers, and he cuts Randall Poe's ear. In the work print version, there was actually, you can see his ear being cut, and he had an ear infection. And I love when Pig says, Randall, next time if I came back, I'll cut me a steak, he stabs in the wall those skizzers, and Chance Boudreaux goes back to find those dog tags because there's something sharp had to done on this, and he finds another dog tag being with a hole in it, and like two guys shows up, they use the trap for dogs, on Chance, and they actually went and attacked him, with the baseball bats, two guys, they completely punches, of course, Chance punches one of the guys in the bus, but he gets hit by his legs and his on the back, and one of those mercenaries tells him, do yourself a favor and get out of town, and tell your bitch girlfriend to sit in the gas and step on it, and one of them also kicks him right in the face, and Chance was outnumbered, and this is the first time that he was beat, and what I love about the character Van Damme plays is because he's a human being, not some indestructible cyborg like Steven Seagal in many of his other movies. He's a human being, and he gets also beaten. He also gets beaten. No, he's a human being, and I just love that. And of course, Natasha shows up, and she said, "Oh, you look terrible, honey. You hurt my feelings." I love that, You should go to the doctor. I hate the doctors. I love that, So they said that he's been charged by trespassing, and I love when Chance says, and the police officer was nice to tell me that. What you doing on the crime scene? And Chance says the doctors had to do something sharp. Your daddy wasn't accident. He was murdered. And Detective Mitchell says there's no evidence, and he shows her the doctor and says it's now. And Cassie Lemons, who plays Detective Mitchell, she goes back and she says she wants to open by the coroner, by the doctor who's in the coroner office, to reopen the case. And he starts burning. And that time when Big Van Cleef, first is Fouchon, and Big Van Cleef shows up, and grabs a gun. And while the guy, I think when the guy is looking through the peephole, bang, pow, right in the eye, Richard was going in the eye, and you see all blood, and I love when he falls down, and of course Fouchon shows up, and says we got to work somewhere else, Rolling Hills, castles, and I just love that, I just love that. We also find out that they're actually hunters, because they hunted before. They're actually in Yugoslavia. They're actually in Beirut. They were hunting war combat, war veterans, combat veterans, pilots, cops. They actually recruit homeless people because no one's gonna miss them. No one's gonna report them. And and I love when Chance shows up in this saloon, this massage saloon, and there's like Red Doll, I love that music. And Red Doll says, "Oh, give me, baby," and he shows up, "Hello, Red Doll." "Oh, no, again." I was like, shoulder here. So now listen, who sent me after this apes on me? And he says, "That's Big Van Cleef. He is an American." Okay, from where is he? I know he is an American. Tell your boyfriend, Pig, I'm gonna find out who killed Douglas Binder. If you understand, just run. Again. I love that, But I love when he says 200 people in who's gonna miss a fat slop like you. I love that. I love Van Damme's character so much. I love this guy so much. Love this guy so much. I mean, actually love this guy so much, who's gonna miss a fat slap in the city like you. I love that. So now Roper, played by William, I think was actually I think was Willie C. Carpenter who plays Elijah Roper. He plays Elijah Roper. He's by Randall Poe for those flyers, and he gives him money, and he says he's gonna take the job. So he shows up in this bridge, and says, "Where's Poe?" And of course, Fouchon says Poe couldn't make it. He had an ear infection. And he gives him a $10,000 belt with the money for $10,000, and he says to Roper, "You only have to do is go 3 miles to the river, and the money is yours." And I love when Elijah Roper says, "Fuck you." And I love when when Fushan says maybe you wanna give the in the with the bowl of soup, just look what you could do with those money, and of course then he takes the money. Roper takes the money and he runs, and he has like a 3 minute start, and Mr. Zanan, he points the gun, he points the rifle and wants to shoot him, but I love when Fushan says, Mr. Zanan, this is New Orleans, not Beirut, and they go after him, and that's actually my favorite scene, especially the best scene in the film, in the graveyard, when they go actually into the graveyard. Roper runs to the graveyard. That's my favorite scene. Through the night, the graveyard is the best scene in the film ever. The best. Always was my favorite scene. He runs to the graveyard, and Mr. Zanan, he takes the safety off and shoots, aims and fires and blows the statue's head off, and Roper is hiding in the beautiful cemetery. They actually beautiful shot in New Orleans in cemetery, when Mr. Zanan shows with the rifle, Roper goes, punches him in the neck, and Zanan falls and goes, fires him, and he goes, he fires the magazine rounds on Fushan and Pick, and Pick of course shoots back, and because he's out of the bullets, he says shit, and he runs to that city, and of course Fushan shows up and says, now you know why we assist you pay us in front. He goes and shoots him, bang, shoots him, right? or I love, why he goes fishing, don't make me bad in dogs. You want to find out if you're dead or alive. No, get him, I don't want to kill him, get him. Don't make me the bad in front of my lads. I love that, or my dogs. Yeah, and of course I love when I love the cemetery scene, especially when Roper, he grabs the machine gun and starts firing on Fushan and Pick One Cliff, but misses them, and says shit. Then he runs to the city. Then we see that no one wants to help him. There's also one of the guys who's actually the brother of Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi. He was in numerous films, especially I think he was in Xena Warrior Princess, and of course. She goes, and of course, Roper asks him to help him and says, hey, man, I get no change, man, and then we see with the silencers and with the Beretta silencers and MP and submachine guns, and of course, MP5S, automatic machine gun, and they go and fire a Roper, like, and he gets, he's like shaking and falls down, and that's kind of gory scene, and of course then he takes the last breath, and he gets killed, so Pick One Cliff shows up, cuts the belt, and that's where they actually found, and that's when the next day they found his body. And Detective Mitchell says to Chance, that he was actually working for Randall Poe for the Flyers. So Detective Mitchell, Chance and Natasha, they go to Randall Poe, and while Randall Poe tries to escape, in the city, that's another favorite scene. This movie kind of feels more like a slash, in my opinion, it kind of feels like, and he tries to escape. Gail goes in the car. In that time, Pick One Cliff with the shotgun shows up, bang, breaks the glass, the glass window, and puts the gun, stick him right in his neck, and he says, Randall, you are going to leave without saying goodbye, huh? And Randall says, my mama got sick in Melixia. I was gonna call you, Mr. Van Cleef, and I love when Big Van Cleef says, of course you were. Randall, of course you were. I know you didn't mean to hurt my feelings, and I love it. Randall with he drops the cigarette, the cigar, you know, and says please, and the Big Van Cleef fires, bang, and you see blood, you know, and through the windshield, you know, the back shells through the windshield, a pure badass, fantastic. I would say, in my opinion, fantastic scene. Yeah, in my opinion, fantastic scene, no, fantastic scene. And then with the, then of course, when Chance, Detective Mitchell, and of course Natasha shows up, you know, and the Detective Mitchell sees that there's actually mercenaries, you know, with weapons, and she pushes Natasha and she fires. She gets hit. She kills one of the bad guys, you know, but she gets hit. In that time, you know, Arnold Vosloo goes with a shotgun and fires and misses Van Damme, and Van Damme's stuntman, Mark Stefanich, he jumps, you know, and he jumps flip side of the car, and he uses the coat, puts on the Detective Mitchell, and grabs the gun and the Mac, you know, and the auto Mac, and he jumps, you know, he jumps on the car and starts firing those bad guys, you know, like a pure badass. There's like a gunman with the motorcycles, you know, with MP5S, you know, they actually with semi-automatic machine guns. They're firing on Van Damme. When they goes shoots, pow, 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 pow. He goes and shoots all the bad guys, you know, and he reloads the magazine. And there's this guy with a motorcycle, and a stuntman with Van Damme jumps himself on the car, and he uses his leg right in the motorcycle helmet. Boom! That was done for real, practical effect. He completely demolishes him, and the guy falls down, you know. One of my favorite scenes, you know, with the leg, right leg in the fucking his shoe in the motorcycle's helmet, right in the biker, bang, and the guy falls down, you know. And that time, you know, that time, of course, Chance grabs a motorcycle, goes to Natasha. Natasha says, we can't leave her there. And he says, she's dead, come, let's go. They escape, they've been hunted, you know. So now Chance becomes a hunted, you know. He becomes a hunted by those guys, and those bad guys, he becomes a haunted, you know. They haunted him now. They go and they haunted him now. He gets haunted, and yeah, he gets haunted. He's now with a motorcycle, and there's like this guy. There's another motorcycle goes right through Natasha and Chance. And Chance says, "Grab the bar." He grabs the machine, goes, shoots the bad guys, you know. And I love motorcycle chase. My favorite scene there. They chase him, you know, they actually fire them through the city, they chase them, you know, and of course the cops doesn't actually intervene because they are actually striking, you know, so they are hunting him, and that's actually, man, being hunted, that's actually interesting, it's actually for sport, and he escapes, he gets to the end of the road, you know, he turns around, and Natasha jumps off the motorcycle, and now he goes, now when Damme, you know, Chance goes after this truck, you know, I think I wrote something down, I think was SFU, I think I did wrote it down, it was actually this truck. I think it was SFU truck. Yeah, SFU vehicle. That was actually SFU car, you know. And Van Damme, that's actually my personal favorite scene. Yes, my personal favorite scene. So Van Damme goes back with a motorcycle, and he stands on the seat, you know. Who stands on the seat, grabs the gun, fires, goes with the Beretta, fires, and he crashes right in this SFU truck. Right in this SFU Jeep, he crashes. My favorite scene, that was perfectly done for real. he crashes in this car and he jumps. He makes a flip side and jumps. That was done for real. It was practical done. The stuntman was crazy. That's my favorite scene. He stands on a motorcycle and crashes his motorcycle right in the SUV truck, and he jumps. He flies over the roof. He flies over the roof, lands on the floor. That was done for real. Wonder how many times they actually used that shot. And he goes to the creek, goes pow 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 pow, shoots the bad guys, and this truck gets actually blown to pieces. This truck gets blown to pieces, and Van Damme says, yeah! Then he runs, and Pick Van Cleef, and Sean goes with his gun, fires, but misses him, and he jumps, and then he jumps on the bridge of the train. That's actually my favorite scene. And this actually my favorite scene. This actually the railroad, and of course Natasha and Chance, they actually jump there. The Natasha and Chance, they actually jump there, on the train, and and of course Van Damme is like the first, she's and they jump, and they escape. Now they go through. Now of course Fouchon says, I guess we have the last speak after all, and so they call all the stalkers, they call their party and say we have a sexual opponent, and of course now they hunting him, he becomes a hard target, and now they hunting him through the swamp. And that's actually my favorite scene, when Van Damme grabs a snake, hits the snake, puts the snake in the snake, and one of the mercenaries accidentally sets the trap, in the trap, the snake goes right in his face. That was actually a mechanical snake, and Pig says, son of a bitch, grabs the snake, and of course Fouchon with his gun goes boom, blows to pieces the snake, and goes, this guy punches his ass with his leg, says, I'll eat you. And if you will hurry up and die quietly, Boudreaux won't have those kind of, won't have time for those traps, And that time we see Wilford Brimley, like, he drives, so even myself, that's my favorite scene, another favorite scene, I don't get better, but that's awesome scene, with Uncle Dewey, being a tracker, and of course he tells that there's a man hunting me, and of course Dewey says, I can smell them. There's people hunting you for the pleasure or for the money, he said, and Chance says both, so he goes with the horseback, and actually in the horseback, John wanted to put the boat scenes in it, but they actually put the both scenes in Face Off, and I would say Hard Target, my opinion, is better than Face Off, So on the horseback he goes through that warehouse, to the old warehouse, I think, it was actually the old storage warehouse, and he's been now chased by a helicopter. The last time I saw a great helicopter scene, it was in this movie, above GoldenEye, Lethal Weapon, and he's been chased by helicopter, and we see Mark Stefanich on it, but there's two scenes in which Van Damme was on the horse. Van Damme didn't know how to use horse, Van Damme actually used 590 Mariner, 12 gauge shotgun, silver shotgun, and fires and shoots one of the bad guys, and Pick Van Cleef with the grenade launcher blows him, and the guy falls down. And meantime, before the helicopter scene, the party, they showed up, they all showed up by the house, they blow the house to pieces, and one of those guys was Sven Ole Thorsen, he was actually smoking a cigar, he was actually he was this guy. He was smoking cigar, and he had a rifle, and that was Walmart M7883 Mauser Mark X, Electro X.4.4 scope semi-automatic rifle, and he goes blows the whole house. And that was actually Damme scene. Svele, I read that somewhere that Svene Ole Torse was actually dubbed, and he said it's clean, he just left, and there's like that time Uncle DeRay shows up with a bow and arrow, and fires bow and arrow, and misses push on, and there's a practical explosion done. There's like a practical explosion, and of course they see the dynamite, and I love when people claim, get the fuck down, and they run, and there's completely whole shit, cabin is blown to pieces. Practical effect, and one of the mercenaries he actually used I can't find it. He used I can't find that weapon that he used. Can't find that weapon. I think it was Cobra Sweepy, but I can't find that weapon. I know I wrote it somewhere down. I really can't find it, but he used that grenade launcher, I think it was Cobra Sweepy, but I guess I didn't wrote it down. Yeah, it was actually SLD. It was actually a Cobra Street Sweeper, a grenade launcher. And the mercenary with the head, he had a grenade launcher, and he used grenade launcher while Wilford Brimley is actually running with a horse. He uses grenade launcher and blows. That's a pure badass practical effect. He blows the shit to pieces with grenade launcher. That mercenary with the head. He actually went and blow the shit to pieces. That was a badass scene, a pure badass, with Cobra Street Sweeper, a grenade launcher, pure badass, And I love when Arnold, when Fouchard said, get in the truck, and of course when Pig says we can get him for the air, no, but I want to get him from the ground. We can get him for the air. I want to be a professional. Hey, this time you make a mistake, and I love that, And when they showed up, after Pig Van Cleef, uses the grenade launcher, and they're pursuing Miles, on the horseback, the horse, Marcefanish was down for the horseback. Yeah, that was when them stand double. He falls down, he uses his shotgun, Mossberg 519 Mariner, 12 gauge, runs in the storage, he goes and runs. He goes and runs in that abandoned storage warehouse, that's actually when the movie starts, when Van Damme launches and shoots 30 kills 30 tycoons, launches all slugs and shot all bullets and slugs, over 1,000 rounds fires, and kills all the baddies. He's like on this he's actually on this crane, on this bird sitting on the crane, and he goes with a shotgun, shoots the bad guys. One of the motorcycles gunmen, shows up right before they start hunting him, and right before the last shootout scene, and of course, while he's looking for Van Damme, there actually a pigeon goes, a white dog goes and shits on his helmet. He uses his semi-automatic machine gun and goes fires, and Van Damme shows up, with a gas tanker, says, "Hey, pigeon," and and the guy tries to shoot him, but the automatic weapon is empty, and Van Damme kicks the barrel with the tanker, with the gasoline, and uses his shotgun and goes, fires, and whole explosion, and whole motorcycle jumps off the window. I still don't know. This will be actually my favorite scene with Van Damme with the gas tanker barrel. He kicks the barrel in his face, aims with his shotgun, fires and causes an explosion, and motorcycle jumps out the window. That will be my favorite scene in the film, the whole film. Even though I said when Van Damme was standing, motorcycle crashed and he went and crashed. He went and crashed in SUV car, but I'll say that scene when he uses the gun and fires, that's my favorite scene, and of course, Natasha and Uncle Dwayne goes back, and of course, Natasha runs. There's one of the guys, who was kicking in the earlier scene, Van Damme, and Natasha grabs a gun, and he goes, "You fucking bitch!" and she goes and shoots his ass. Pow, pow, pow. She shoots his ass, which is awesome. And and I love when every of you is a fucking buffalo, you guys are fucking buffalo. Move, move. I love Lance Henriksen's character. There's actually another scene, which there is actually the shootout scene is actually the best in the film, my favorite, because there's all fire, there's a lot of bloody, and of course, there's actually a scene which is actually an accident. Lance Henriksen his coat really got on fire, and that wasn't acting, that was done for real. And he was still professional, even though he got caught by fire. That took on the shot, and he goes and grabs the coat, shows it on it, and says, "God damn it, son of a bitch is good. The son of a bitch is mine." That wasn't acting, that was done for real, Lance Henriksen was professional, he still acted, And one of the scenes that I actually love during the battle, during the fight, when then goes and kills all the baddies, this guy, Sven Ole Thorsen with cigar. That's my first scene, with that cigar, and when then grabs one of the trucks, he goes, punches the motorcycle truck, the gunman with the motorcycle, grabs his gun, sees the reflection with Stefan, Sven Ole Thorsen. He sees him with a cigar, and he grabs the gun and goes, pow, 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 shoots him, pow, pow, pow. And then Van Damme goes and jumps. Another favorite scene of mine, he goes and jumps and makes that flying spin kick, 30-60 spin kick, and makes a split with his leg and punches him in the face and makes like a split in the jump in slow motion, and he falls down. That's another favorite scene of mine. And Van Damme says sorry about the shirt, and he sees the motorcycle, says, "Okay, rest, pow, 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 pow," shoots the motorcycle, reloads the gun, another gunman in the motorcycle car, so goes, "Pow, pow, 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 pow," shoots him, And of course, when Wilford Brimley goes with bow and arrow, and the guy with the steeled arrow, fires with steeled arrow, the other mercenary fires with a machine gun. And I love that scene when Wilford Brimley grabs a bow and arrow, goes, fires right in the neck. That's my favorite scene. He goes, falls down, mercenary, and the guy with an arrow stilt, and I love when Wilford Brimley bow and arrow fires the guy with stilt arrow, he goes and fires at him. The guy with the grenade launcher was actually Billy Bob, played by David Afro, which is awesome. But the guy with the stilt arrow, I think was Mr. Lopaki, Robert Tapisa with arrow stilt, and I love when Wilford Brimley grabs the bow and arrow, fires, hits him. But I think that one of the bad guys shoots in the leg away, and Natasha shows up, shows him a Beretta 9mm gun, and that's another favorite scene. Van Damme with two guns, such a badass, he's with two guns, he goes and shoots the bad guy, pow, 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 goes and shoots the bad guy, pow, 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 and kicks the guy in the face, the guy's head falls down, he kicks him with his leg right in the face, and there's another guy shows up, Mr. Lopaki, Robert Tapisa, Van Damme goes with two guns, pow, 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 shoots him, and then he does another spin kick twice, spin kick, and punches him right in the face, right in the face, he goes, pow, 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 shoots him, and there's another scene when he reloads the gun, goes with the automatic, and of course, like I said, I didn't say that, but Pick Van Cleef uses the shotgun, fires at him, then he uses Glock, I think was Glock 19, he uses and fires at him. And they go in this wall, and says, Boudreaux, I was looking all over the place. You're looking for wrong places. Says, I know you didn't mean to hurt my feelings. I love that, And Van Damme reloads the gun, two Berettas, and they start firing each other, bang, 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 bang. And there's like bad guys, bang, 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 bang. One of the bad guys has a grenade. Van Damme goes bang, 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 bang through the glasses, kills him, pow, 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 kills him. The grenade falls out. There's an explosion, pure badass scene. And then Van Damme jumps, that was another scene done for real, jumps off the window. That's what Mark Stefanich done, stand double, jumps the window while Arnold also grabs the grenade, throws the grenade, there's explosion, and Van Damme jumps, goes down the ramp, shoots, shoots Pick Van Cleef, pure badass, and Big One and falls, grabs the grenade, and Van Damme kicks him and he falls down, In that time I love when Lance Henriksen finds him dead, Pick Van Cleef gets pissed, and now he stares and says, "You lucky son of a bitch! You want some more?" And Van Damme says, "How's to be to be the hunted? How's to feel to be the hunted? You tell me. There's any catcher will fire the bullet. You can't kill me. I'll say there's no winner. I see one. You look at that one, and Van Damme jumps, he makes a split jumps with shotgun, fires and shoots him right in the shoulder, and he falls down, he falls down. And of course, Natasha and everything's now in the flames, is burning. Natasha and Wilford Brimley shows up, and Lance Henriksen grabs the arrow and stabs Wilford Brimley and grabs Natasha with the arrow. And he says, "Load me," and Van Damme, grabs he goes and grabs the shotgun. And he throws the barrels out of the shotgun, he empties the shotgun, throws it on the floor, and he makes like this, he loads him, and he has a grenade, he actually has a grenade, he also has a grenade, and he goes and he then runs, and makes a flying jump kick and hits him right in the chest. And he fires, but he misses him. Van Damme right makes a flying kick, jumps and hits him. And Lance Harrison's character, the stunt double falls down, and he turns and kicks the barrel. That was also in Bullet in the Head. He kicks the barrel, and Van Damme then goes and jumps off the barrel, makes a flying jump, but he gets hit, and Van Damme, of course, he grabs the board and we see the people that are not the Fushan hurt, like Douglas Binder, Elijah Roper and Detective Mitchell, and he grabs his breaks the board, and he goes punches him, he goes and punches him, and he grabs the grenade, shows him in the pants, and says hunting, and says, and of course then he says hunting season is over. And he gives him a kiss with his head, he punches the head, and Lance Harrison falls down, grabs the grenade and blows to pieces, he goes and blows to pieces, and of course Chad says Dway, and he finds, that's a good start, real bad, and now all three they leave and the movie ends, and the movie is a pure badass. I love this movie to death. Budget $18 million. Lance Harrison, best performance in my opinion. The best performance in my opinion is Arnold Vosloo's People Clip. Love the character. Aren't you angry at me? I don't get angry. I'm a professional. I love that line. I love. There's so many epic scenes in the movie that I love. I love when Natasha and Chance are running to the raid show. They actually jump on a train. I love that scene. I love this scene, I was talking about the scene, when Van Damme grabs the board. I love this scene, this is actually for Brimley. I love this scene. He's a hard target. Don't hunt what you can't kill. Don't hunt what you can't kill. It's actually better. Don't hunt what you can't kill. Don't hunt him. Don't mess with him, I also love the scene when he makes two spin kicks, and hits the second one, misses, but the first spin kick he misses, the second spin kick he hits him in the face, and then uses two guns, pow pow pow, shoots him. Love that scene. Or I love when this guy there's another scene, or when Van Damme goes and shoots Sven Ole Thorsen, with his gun, bam bam bam, pow 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 pow, and he jumps, makes a flying jump kick, flying roundhouse, or how you say it, roundhouse, that flying spin kick, and punches him in the face, and then he makes a split, he lands and he falls down, and Stefan, the character, falls down, and Van says sorry about the shirt. There's another scene that I actually really love. I wrote it somewhere down. Bedrow is also shooting an enemy whilst hanging from a rope. He's also he goes on the rope and he swings himself and shoots the bad guys from swinging from the rope. Another scene of mine, or he uses the grenade, punches the guy, in the helmet or with the gun, and like I said, he goes west, pow, 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 pow. I love that, I love the fight. The shootout scenes are fantastic. I love the fight scenes in the open scene when Van Damme kicks the guys to pieces. I love that. The movie was released 20 August 1993, so it actually was 25th anniversary. So this is actually a summer-packed action film. Budget $80 million. Worldwide only $74 million. film locations were actually in New Orleans, Louisiana, USA. I love Chance Boudreaux. I love Jean-Claude Van Damme's best performance. I love these bad guys. They're awesome. I love these bad guys. This is awesome film. The Thrill of the Hunt is the ultimate drug, and I love that. I just love this movie today. This movie speaks to me. It's a phenomenal action film. It speaks to me. It's my personal favorite action film. Yeah, the action are used well. There are a lot of action uses, like grenade launcher. The grenade launcher was awesome. Pauretas were awesome, Van Damme with 2 guns. I always thought, what happened? Why Van Damme does not do those kind of movies, but John Woo was one of the reasons. There's also this gun that Lance Henriksen was using. I think was Thompson Center Arms container. The gun that was used in Lance Henriksen was also used by Mad Dog in Hard Boiled. Yeah, and of course, the guy David Efron, who has a grenade launcher, was actually great. Cobra Street Sweeper grenade launcher was awesome. Blows the shed to pieces. One of my favorite scenes goes and blows the shed to pieces by Wilford Brimley, by chasing Wilford Brimley, which was awesome. That scene, Wilford Brimley plays Uncle Dewey from Van Damme. They don't make movies like this anymore. I miss action movies like this. I miss Van Damme's Hard Target. I love this movie to death. I'll say my favorite movie. Always was my favorite. Even though with haters, was always my favorite. But that's my movie review on Hard Target 993. Don't be too hard on me. Don't cyberbully me. Don't attack me. And have a good day. Sorry, it's over 1 hour long review. But I had to talk about this film again. Anyway, I'm out. Peace.